Good evening and welcome back to another video. Today's video is about hacks and scams. Something for everybody to understand and try and obviously avoid and not be caught into the clutches of dodgy coins or insecure exchanges. So we start today with the article that New Zealand's police are investigating complex $2.4 million ETH Cryptopia attack. Now, for many people who don't know, Cryptopia is a smallest exchange based in New Zealand. They seem to hold or offer a lot of currencies that you can't normally get on exchanges such as Binance or Kraken and obviously Coinbase. I have used Cryptopia previously, and when I started using it, was fairly surprised that it didn't offer 2FA, two-factor authentication, and I wasn't holding much on there. So, and it was a coin that is really not doing that well and is not a great project. So I get a bit of a FOMO on that project, but I think they've not too long ago added 2FA or have some sort of secret number, which is just bizarre because it's static and obviously 2FA is constantly changing or dynamic. But I'll read. Police authorities investigating this week's $2.5 million hack of New Zealand-based Cryptopia have admitted that the case is complex matter, while the exchange is duly coordinating with authorities to net the accused, and the proceedings remain at early stages. So, obviously, started this year and a lot of last year. You had a lot of exchanges which were being hacked and losing money for individuals. And this is what I've said, and other YouTubers or other people in the cryptocurrency community will usher these words of, look where your money is. Do you need to have such a large amount of money on an exchange? And of course, I've made a video before about how to enter the cryptocurrency market and what you feel comfortable with storing your money. Personally, my opinion, a majority of my assets and people who are in the industry, my friends, whatever, also store money offline, whether that be offline wallet or cold storage like a Ledger and obviously Trezor. Kraken CEO, I can't remember his name, mentioned that you should only be keeping what you're exchanging, I guess, and it kind of makes sense. Previously with Bitcoin in the hype of 2017, if you sent a Bitcoin payment to Coinbase or Binance from your Ledger, and you would find it would take a couple of hours or an hour or something, and then you'd have this nervous panic of whether it was the right address, and you'd keep looking at the block Explorer, and then it eventually arrive, and then you would have a big sigh of relief. Obviously, things are improving with Lightning Network and Ethereum's Constantinople and other sort of developments, but in my opinion, the advice would be keep your money where you feel most comfortable. I have some of it in some exchanges like Binance, but like most people, it's held offline, away from hacks, away from malicious people who will do all attempts to try and hack into your account or hack into, example, Cryptopia. And this goes back all the way to 2014 with our famous first sort of incident was Mt. Gox. Now there's a very good video on I think Netflix about Bitcoin, and the guy who set up Mt. Gox originally was, I think, a very smart person individually, and he sold it or passed it on to somebody in Japan who didn't understand KYC properly or AML or generally infrastructure of IT security, cyber security, and they're obviously keeping all the Bitcoin that they held at the time, $400 million worth of Bitcoin, on a computer. So obviously there was no resilience, and for anybody who these days or understands resilience or DR, whatever, or just infrastructure would understand that simply don't keep all your eggs in one basket. And that obviously rings true with the Mt. Gox thing, where they were hacked, everything was stolen, whether it was an inside job, whether people realized and how easy it was to hack their computer. Times have changed. A lot of cryptocurrency exchanges, a lot of funds now store most of their funds on ledgers and only hold about 3%, 4% online. I think Binance is one of the ones which actually doesn't store much actually online. Majority of their funds are on offline storages like ledgers. There's a company called Crypto20 who if you look at their website, have about, I think, 20 ledgers which they store in different banks, as in vaults or safe deposit boxes, in different locations. So they're really obviously spreading their funds quite sensibly. Obviously, we don't need to go to that extent. One ledger should be enough, or two if you're really, really paranoid. But it's just something to understand. I mean, they got hacked. Mt. Gox got hacked, and it was a big hoo-ha. And only this year, probably in summertime. So what's that? 2019. So 5 years later, the individuals who lost their money will be getting their money back in Bitcoin. So the idea is to remain safe, be vigilant, understand where your currency is being kept. I mean, there's so many exchanges out there at the moment. You've got Binance and Huobi and Kraken and Coinbase and Cryptopia, and then you've got things like GateHub, and you've got other ones that I can't even remember unless I look at my notes of what current exchanges are out there. Oh, you've got CEX, and you've got Poloniex, and you've got Bittrex, Bitfinex. There's a whole load of these. So keep your money safe. Keep an eye on where it is. So let that be a warning to you all. Okay, and we move on. I want to talk about scams. We talked about hacks. Let's talk about scams now. So fake XRP, classic token services. Anything with the fact that it's got classic, except for Ethereum, is worrying. I mean, XRP wasn't a coin which was mined. It wasn't a coin which was forked, and it certainly hasn't been a hard fork of Ethereum. XRP. So an Ethereum XRC compliant token called XRP. Sorry, my Siri decided to come on there. Classic has surfaced and has recorded $526 in trading. Wow, amazing. But the fact that XRP is not an ERC20, it's its own blockchain, it's its own mainnet, it should be the first alarm bell. But I'll read on. Looking at the other details related to XRP Classic show that the total supply is around 645 billion. However, CoinMarketCap's market data tools have not been able to track its circulating supply. So let me see if I can just quickly bring up CoinMarketCap. So let's see if we can find this XRPC. XRP Classic, is it still on there? I think the other day it was actually on CoinMarketCap. Hopefully they've removed it, because it seemed like they were appearing on places like CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, and obviously majority of us do use CoinMarketCap. I used to use CoinGecko, and I found that the information on CoinMarketCap was better. There's another one called Coin Paprika, which is actually pretty cool because it shows you the all-time highs. Again, not affiliated to any of these markets here or there, but I think the idea is the fact that there's been trading volume is whether they've been doing it or people have been buying into this. I'll continue reading. According to XRP's classic website, the XRPC token is based on a decentralized blockchain network. The site also claims that XRP Classic platform allows all XRPC tokens to be traded via an automated system. Going through the XRP Classic's white paper reveals that it is also supposed to be a platform creating marketplaces and freelancers. So, I don't need to keep reading too much onto this, but we know it's a scam. It's not a chain of or anything to do with XRP or Ripple, the company. And this is what I really want to speak about next, is about being careful of these fake tokens. And I spoke about it in a previous video that when we see an uptick in the market and we see a resurgence of the market and we go in a bull run, expect to see more of these dodgy tokens. And we saw that in 2017 with our famous BitConnect. And you see how that ended up. They ended up getting seized by the Texas authorities, and then the prices plummeted. And you saw videos on YouTube where people were losing thousands. I thought one video where the guy lost $30,000 and he had to explain to his wife what happened to their savings. Not a good thing to see. Hopefully, that individual or the people who lost their money can get some of the money back. But always read white papers. If you are someone who doesn't like reading white papers or reading, do loads of research on YouTube. There'll be people like me talking about dodgy tokens or currencies you shouldn't be investing in, and there'll be other people as well. Again, make sure you look at ones which talk about guaranteed returns. And I spoke about this previously, but again, there's no guaranteed returns. In crypto, we invest just like you do in the normal stock market, and there's always a risk of a loss as well as a profit, and that's why you're investing on the basis that it's a hedge, right? And like the 2017-2018 ICO scams, this is similar. So I think there was something else similar to something classic, cannot remember, but you had recently, not long ago, you had, was it Litecoin Classic or something? And I think that just hopefully just died as it should be. Charlie Lee came out and said obviously it's a scam. And don't get me wrong, there are legitimate coins out there which people have called scams, and EOS and XRP are notably ones where people have initially called them scams, but I think that's more people who are just more Bitcoin enthusiasts and don't want to see anything else there. But you can look at the work that XRP are doing, or people then soon realize actually XRP is a serious project, just like EOS. But something like this, where it's got such small trading volume, it's probably white paper is probably, in my opinion, probably plagiarized from somewhere else. The name, just the fact that they're trying to use XRP is a bit silly. But just like most things, people do fall for scams. So please be careful. I mean, we get it where people can be fooled easily. I had a neighbor come over to my house one time, worrying that she had an email that she hadn't paid a phone bill from a company called Vodafone, and she didn't know what to do, and she was worried that she should go to her bank and pay the bill. My first question was, "Do you have a Vodafone account?" To her reply was no. There we go. So anyone susceptible to be hacked or scammed, please do your research, or do plenty of YouTube videos, which is also good, but watch out for people who shill. And we got that from BitConnect. There was a lot of people on YouTube who were shilling these coins. I really don't like that word. Who were promoting these coins, and they were found to be in on it, I guess you should say. There was, they weren't exchanging 20 Bitcoin or making 1 Bitcoin a day. If there was a project like that which was legitimate, I'm pretty sure everybody would jump on that bandwagon. Certainly I would be. But as they say, if it's too good to be true, it generally is. But be careful out there, guys. But I wanted to end on something which isn't a scam and which isn't a hack. And this is a very good article from Barclays in the UK. So Barclays and Clearmatics call on coders to help blockchains talk to each other. So this is very, very good article and very, very good to see. So UK bank Barclays and London-based startup Clearmatics are inviting coders to come up with ways to connect Ethereum with made-for-enterprise blockchains such as Hyperledger Fabric. The interoperability, which basically means trying to connect different things together, challenge is being hosted by Clearmatics and will use a template involving its open source interoperability protocol, ION. The hackathon will take place at Barclays Rise FinTech Hub in London on the 5th and 6th of Feb. The importance of addressing interoperability between major enterprise blockchain platforms is reflected by big names involved. A panel of judges will feature representatives from mega banks, Barclays, UBS, HSBC, and Santander. All these companies, Barclays, UBS, HSBC, and Santander, they're all involved in cryptocurrency, guys. HSBC and Santander are both, we know, are working Ripple and trying to use XRP, and Santander were, I think, one of the first ones to use payments to and from, is it Bank of America, for XRP or XRapid. We know Barclays are looking up, setting up a desk, and I'm sure UBS are in there. So these guys aren't just doing it for fun. They clearly want to know information about this and how they can link the different blockchains together or even other markets together. So it's very good news. The prizes for the teams who come up with the most impressive solutions have not been announced. The consulting giant EY, which is Ernst & Young, which in the UK is a consultancy firm, will be observing the event and will produce a report based finding a role play by Deloitte. So a lot of big names involved, and it's very good to see this, and the fact that they're doing this and they're doing it in London, in terms of the fact that it's a good hub for financial area, and fintech is obviously a big area which banks are looking at, and they're obviously looking at how can we innovate on the blockchain and improve it for ourselves, which is a fantastic thing to hear. I quote, and I'll read on, and the quote will be, "We would like to gain a greater understanding of the challenges and potential solutions for interoperability between different distributed ledgers, such as interoperability can be complex, and this hackathon will permit the industry to experiment with the ION protocol and also provide feedback to the open source project." So, imagine if you could link up XRP and Ethereum and Bitcoin and Litecoin and EOS, and in a way that similar to, is it atomic swaps and things like that, and seeing different payments on a Explorer. I mean, I think the idea is seeing what they can do with this research and developers themselves. And obviously, they do this with other sort of companies. Google do it, and Facebook will do it. But they're trying to see who is the brains and who ultimately can figure this out, and whether they can offer them a job, which is generally what happens on the back of this, or get project money or donation money to start a project of this. So very good to see. I like reading things like this where banks such as the big banks like HSBC, Barclays, Santander, UBS are working on this. Clearly they're all involved some way, some shape or form of another in blockchain and cryptocurrency, and whether they're holding Bitcoin, whether they're mining Bitcoin, whether they're working with XRP. It's very good to hear and see, and I would like to see more information on this and more stuff coming out from big banks talking about this, and seeing what else they can do, or in terms of setting up desks or setting up crypto payments, whatever. But I'll end on that. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Are you a liker for banks being involved on this level? Is it possible for blockchains to talk to each other? Or just generally your views on the scams and hacks, and if anybody's got any things they've come across, please comment. I can always mention in another video if you guys know about dodgy coins or dodgy exchanges which are security lacking. I'd love to hear from you. But anyway, Please like and subscribe, and wherever you are and where you're listening from, have a lovely day, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, thank you. Bye.